Welcome to Learn Arabic. مرحبا بكم في تعلم العربية. Hi everyone, and welcome to the second lesson in our live lessons. So what you're seeing here is what you're going to learn today. Today we're going to learn how to talk about what we study and what we read. So we're going to learn the verb to study, درسا, and verb أقرأ, meaning to read. So let's have a look at what we're going to learn today. أنا أدرس العربية. أنت تدرس العربية. أنتِ تدرسين العربية. You might know the meaning of these three sentences, or maybe you might recognize the repetition in these three sentences. Take a moment to have a look at the three sentences and decide which word is repeated without any change, either by the way it's written or the way it sounds in these three sentences. Yes, it's this word, العربية. You can see it here and here as well. And it means what you might have guessed. It means Arabic, the Arabic language. And now look at the three sentences and notice the second word in each sentence. Here, أدرس, تدرس, تدرسين. The same verb, to study. Now, let's have a look at the second set of sentences that we're going to learn today. These are the sentences. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. أنت تقرأ بالعربية. أنتِ تقرأين بالعربية. As we noticed in the other set of languages, the three sentences have some elements in common. The first element is the third word, which is practically the same in all of these sentences. It is this word, بالعربية, right? So as you see, it is present here also in the first three sentences where you can see the word العربية. There is one letter that is extra at the beginning of this word بالعربية, which is not the case here, where it says العربية. So this one is العربية and this one is بالعربية. Okay. So let's focus on these three sentences. أنا أقرأ, and the verb is أقرأ, which is to read. تقرأ, you read. تقرأين, you read, the feminine form. So let's start with how these sentences are structured. Okay, let's start here. So let's start here with the word أنا. أنا, as you all know, means I. أنا, I. Again, so you can see the different letters. The first letter is ألف همزة. The second is نون. And the third is ألف. So أنا, I. أنا أدرس. أنا أدرس. أنا ألف دال راء سين. أنا أدرس. I study. أدرس, study. The verb is درسا without this ألف. This is the root of the verb. And now to make it I study, to conjugate it with I, we add this ألف همزة. أنا أدرس. أدرس. Now you might notice the presence of this vowel on the ra, which is ضمة, أدرس. But as you know, we don't put these vowels, we don't type them. We don't usually type them. أنا أدرس. What do I study? ألف لام, which is the, and the in Arabic, always remember, العربية. أنا أدرس العربية. So as you see, there is a fatha on the ain, ra, ب, ya, fatha and shadda. It might be helpful for you when you practice writing these words to also write the short vowels so you can remember how to pronounce each letter. But anyway, al-Arabiyya means Arabic, the Arabic, or the Arabic language. I أدرس, here, I, أنا, أدرس, study, العربية. أنا أدرس العربية. I study اللغة العربية, or the Arabic language. One more thing we might add is the fact that we can remove this أنا. So you don't actually need to use the pronoun, the subject pronoun. You can just remove it like that. You can just say أدرس العربية, as simple as that, and it will be a complete sentence. Why? because this verb أدرس shows you which subject pronoun you're referring to. أدرس in itself will indicate that it is I study and not anything else. So you're not going to confuse it with the other forms of the verb. However, it's optional to actually still use أنا. And at this point, you can just use أنا to practice those subject pronouns. Now, I would like to say the same thing, but using a different pronoun, talking to someone and telling them you study Arabic. How do we do that? It is very simple. You start with the pronoun which means you, أنت, أنت, ألف, همزة, نون, تاء, أنت, with a fatha, which makes it تا, أنت, you, masculine, singular. Now the verb has to change with أنت. It's not going to be أدرس, but we're going to keep the root of the verb, which is درس. درس. And we're going to add تاء in front of the root. Remember, these verbs are conjugated in the present tense. You study. Okay? So, أنت تدرس. تدرس. أنت تدرس. أنا أدرس. أدرس. أنت تدرس. You study. أنت تدرس. تدرس العربية. So let's add العربية, which means again the Arabic language. The same goes here, as you can say تدرس العربية without أنت, which will mean practically the same thing. So remember, we can use the subject pronoun or not. In both cases, the way the verb is conjugated is going to indicate the subject pronoun and the verb. So, أنت تدرس العربية. Now, if we want to talk to someone who's not, if we want to talk to someone who's a female person, what we're going to do, it's going to be similar to أنت تدرس العربية, except that أنت will become أنتِ. أنتِ. And then تدرس is going to stay the same, but we're going to add 2 extra letters at the end of the verb, which will make it تدرسين. تدرسين. أنتِ تدرسين العربية. You study Arabic. You study Arabic in the feminine form. You see how the pronunciation of this أنت changed into this أنتِ just by simply changing the حركة on top of the last letter. While أنت مذكر ends with فتحة, which makes it تا, أنت, the last letter ت in أنتِ has a كسرة under it, which makes it أنتِ. So this one here is أنت, you masculine, and this one here is أنتِ, you feminine. Now, repeat after me. Okay, repeat after me. أنا أدرس العربية. أنت تدرس العربية. أنتِ تدرسين العربية. Perfect. Now, one more look at the way the verb changed with each pronoun, just to make sure that we got it right. So we have this, let's change the color. Okay, so we have this alif here, أدرس, which is placed as a letter added to the root of the verb to conjugate it with أنا. And then we have this تاء, فتحة, with أنت, the speaker, you, masculine. And then we have the same تاء when the interlocutor is feminine. And with these two final letters, we add تاء at the beginning of the verb and ياء نون at the end of the verb. So remember the way we conjugate this verb درسا, to study, with these pronouns when we practice the next 3 sentences. Now we want to say that I read in Arabic. It's going to be أنا أقرأ بالعربية. That's I just want to copy and paste العربية with the حركات here. Let's put it here. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. أنا I أقرأ read أقرأ بالعربية in Arabic. So the first word is أنا here, and it's the same pronoun I, and it is here. So it is ألف همزة نون ن ألف مد أنا I. And now the verb is أقرأ. Let's look at each letter. So this is ألف A, and this is قاف ق ق أق, and then this is را R, and you know the ra doesn't connect to the next letter, and it ends with this ألف همزة أقرأ. Can you tell which letters form the root of this verb? Yes, you're right. It's these 3 letters. قرأ, قرأ. And as we did in أدرس, when we added this ألف at the beginning of the verb to indicate that it is here, I'm trying to, yeah. So this ألف at the beginning of the verb, this is the way you conjugate this verb with أنا in the present tense, just like we did here with أدرس here. You can see there is an ألف همزة at the beginning We did the same with the verb قرأ. Okay. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. Now, as you see, there is an extra letter here at the beginning of the word بالعربية. So this is a preposition and it means in. I read in Arabic. And some prepositions are connected to the words, others are not. One of the prepositions we connect to words is the preposition ب, just the letter ب. ب, it means in Arabic. بالعربية. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. So let's copy the same word, the same sentence, and conjugate it with the other two pronouns, starting with أنت. Now we're going to change this pronoun into أنت, أنت, like that. And then remember, the root of the verb is قرأ. What do you think we should add at the beginning of the verb to conjugate it with أنت to say you study in the present tense? Yes, that بالعربية. أنت تقرأ بالعربية. Just like we did with درسا, to study, we added a تاء here at the beginning of the verb here. We do the same with قرأ to make it you read. أنت تقرأ. أنت تقرأ. أنت تقرأ بالعربية, which means you study in Arabic. Now let's add the third sentence and conjugate it with أنت in the feminine form. Now, أنتِ is the feminine form of أنت, أنتِ. And as we do with أنت, we're going to add the تاء at the beginning of تقرأ to become أنتِ تقرأين, إنا. Remember, here when we said أنتِ تدرسين, we added a تاء here. We added a تاء here, and we added ياء نون at the end of the verb. So we added a تاء at the beginning of the verb and ياء نون at the end of the verb to conjugate the verb with the second person singular feminine. Now we're going to do the same with تقرأين. So we add this تاء at the beginning of the verb and this ياء نون at the end of the verb. Okay, so this would have been correct, except that we have a small problem. This small problem is just this alif hamza in the middle. Now let me show you the same sentence that I showed you at the beginning of this episode. As you see here, you don't see this alif hamza here. I showed you this sentence at the beginning of the episode, and there is no alif hamza. The hamza is written differently, and this is what we're going to do. So let's go back here and fix this. So this alif hamza is going to change, to transform into this this alternative form of hamza, because the hamza, which is what you see on top of the alif, this small part here, this part here, this small part here. So this hamza takes different forms, and one of these forms is this form that I'm going to type. Here you go. This one. So instead of this hamza being carried on top of an alif, it's gonna be carried on top of a nabra, or this small tooth that you see here. So this is just one of the spelling rules of hamza. You don't need to worry too much about it. Just remember that the hamza that you see here on the alif in both of these forms is just gonna take a different form when it is conjugated with anti, and it will be written this way. But it's gonna be pronounced the same way. So أنتِ تقرأين بالعربية. أنتِ تقرأين بالعربية. Now let's repeat these three sentences. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. أنت تقرأ بالعربية. أنت تقرأ بالعربية. أنتِ تقرأين بالعربية. أنتِ تقرأين بالعربية. I'll just say one more observation about the ta marbuta at the end of the word عربية, العربية. So just remember that although it's a ta, the ta marbuta, except in specific cases, are pronounced as a, عربية, عربية. Okay, and one more thing is this shadda here that you see underneath the kasra, the fatha. So it just makes it just puts stress on the letter. So you say al-arabiyya, yeah. This stress is like expressed in the form of this shadda, this accent that you see here in the form of, it's like the number 3 but downwards or something. Okay, so here's one more look at what we learned today. It's how to say I study Arabic and I read in Arabic with the 3 subject pronouns, أنا, أنت, and أنتِ. I, you, masculine, and you, feminine. So one more time, أنا أدرس العربية. أنت تدرس العربية. أنتِ تدرسين العربية. أنا أقرأ بالعربية. أنت تقرأ بالعربية. أنتِ تقرأين بالعربية. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope this was helpful for you. So I'll be looking forward to meeting you again next Friday at the same time for a new lesson in Arabic. Thank you, and see you next time.
البت.